Hidden behind Tehran's hills lies a fortress of silence where screams echo louder than justice. This is Evin Prison, Iran's most notorious detention center where journalists vanish, confessions are forced, and human rights are a distant memory. For decades, its walls have held secrets too horrifying for headlines. But today, we're ripping the veil off. From torture chambers to international scandals, this is the prison Iran doesn't want the world to see. Birth of a fortress. Look north from Tehran's noisy center, and you will notice a gray wall climbing the lower Alborz slopes. That wall rings Evin, a compound spanning 16 hectares, shaded by plane trees yet watched by sentries with machine guns. Night air here drops 10 degrees below downtown, a curtain that swallows screams. From the road, the entrance looks polite, a blue gate flanked by tiled verses. Cross that threshold once, and corridors narrow, twist, and end in doors so thick the echo of their slam feels like a punch. The complex sits 1,100 meters above sea level, high enough that winter snow lingers on the roofs. The land once grew almonds for Ziauddin Tabatabai, a prime minister of the 1920s. In 1971, the Shah's security agency, Savak, seized the orchard and told architects to erect a modern detention showpiece. Plans promised an L-shaped block with dormitories for 300 inmates and 20 solitary cells, plus skylights, classrooms, and a library for inspecting diplomats. It looked progressive. Reality surfaced fast. Walls of coarse concrete amplified every footfall, pipes leaked within months, and interrogators settled in before the paint dried. Cells soon held triple the design load, turning fresh air into a privilege. Guards said only the kettle had reliable water. Arrests came fast. University students arrived first, then poets, clerics, lawyers, and journalists. The steady flow of scholars earned the facility a mocking nickname, Evin University. Classes here meant hunger strikes and cattle prod theory. Human Rights Watch later documented what prisoners call white torture, a routine that mixes total isolation, harsh fluorescent light, and shocks to feet and gums until a confession appears. Guards insist no blood means no proof, but survivors describe hands that shake for decades. By 1977, the roll had swollen to 1,500, 5 times the blueprint. Bulldozers poured concrete for new wings, beginning the climb toward today's 15,000 capacity. On 11 February 1979, revolutionaries stormed the gates, freed whoever could still walk, and declared the Shah finished. Hope rode the escape trucks into town. The same evening, representatives of the newborn Islamic Republic picked offices inside the empty guardhouse and ordered the locks replaced. Cells that had caged monarchists reopened for secular activists, leftists, and Baha'i leaders. Execution summer. The revolution brought new slogans, but the wall stayed the same. By 1983, the Islamic Republic had expanded Evin's capacity to 15,000 inmates, many accused of nothing more than printing leaflets or attending marches. Wardens packed bunk beds 3 high, then laid mattresses on the tile. Guards began dividing the jail by ideology. Communists in one wing, monarchists in another, religious dissenters in a third. Interrogators turned the courtroom into a conveyor belt for trials lasting less than 5 minutes. A 2004 Human Rights Watch study described how indefinite solitary confinement was used to break resistance. The summer of 1988 pushed cruelty into industrial scale. After Ayatollah Khomeini signed a secret decree, special death committees entered Evin with folders of prisoner names. Detainees were blindfolded, lined up, and asked a single question about political allegiance. The wrong answer sent them straight to a rope hanging from an assembly beam. Human rights groups estimate that between 2,800 and 5,000 prisoners across Iran died during those weeks, many at Evin itself. Bodies were trucked to unknown graves so families could never mourn. Some witnesses recall hearing forklifts move bodies because guards worked all night to meet killing quotas. One survivor later told Amnesty International that he heard his best friend recite a prayer while the noose tightened. Another described scraping lime dust off the corridor floor where fresh pits had been dug under the exercise yard. Inside Section 209, the lights burned 24 hours a day so prisoners could not tell dawn from dusk. When the killing finally paused in early autumn, the wards echoed, not with relief, but with hollow silence because entire cell blocks were empty. Desperate inmates scraped calendars into soap shards to track days, yet entire weeks vanished when guards confiscated the soap. Sleep became a myth. The state denied everything. Newspapers printed stories about routine transfers, and families who asked questions risked prison themselves. In 2016, leaked audio of a 1988 cabinet meeting revealed top officials admitting that the massacres were deliberate and carefully planned. The recording caused global outrage, yet no domestic trial. Evin's wall had learned to swallow truth, but witnesses kept whispering. Let's follow those whispers into the present, showing what daily life looks like for the prisoners who still fill these corridors. Experts now label the massacre a crime against humanity worldwide. Life inside the maze. Evin today looks bigger, louder, and somehow emptier than ever. Official maps show 12 wards arranged like spokes on a wheel, each with its own courtyard and mess hall. Political prisoners share space with violent offenders and fraudsters, a deliberate mixture that keeps information flowing to the guards. The population hovers near 15,000, according to recent estimates, though numbers shift each week as buses arrive from provincial courts. Cells designed for 8 now squeeze 14 people, so inmates sleep in hour shifts, handing blankets from one exhausted body to the next. Many stay for years without seeing a judge because courts delay paperwork indefinitely. Section 209 remains the prison inside the prison. Run by the Ministry of Intelligence, it contains rows of 2-meter cells painted white from ceiling to floor. Lights stay on day and night, and no window pierces the walls. Prisoners speak of an engine hum that never stops, masking footsteps and conversation. Cameras watch every movement, but microphones record even the rustle of paper. When interrogators arrive, they ask questions already answered, knowing that fatigue will twist memories until confession feels easier than truth. Sleep deprivation joins the toolkit when interrogators bang on doors every half hour. Women face extra layers of pressure. Nobel Peace Prize laureate Narj Mohammadi has spent much of the last decade moving between Ward 209 and the clinic after repeated hunger strikes. Journalist Zara Kazemi died in 2003 from a skull fracture during questioning. Officials first claimed a stroke, then blamed a fall, yet independent examiners found signs of rape and beating. The New Yorker recently profiled activist Sapide Golian, who smuggled out recipes for Tre Lesh cake to remind fellow inmates of life beyond razor wire. Her stories reveal guards who confiscate sanitary pads as punishment and force women to stand for roll call even when feverish. Medical neglect deepens the torment. The clinic stocks painkillers and little else. Insulin, heart pills, and even bandages arrive only when families pay bribes. During the COVID-19 outbreaks, entire wards shared one thermometer. Survivors recall checking each other's pulse with shaky fingers because nurses never came. Hope depends on contraband radios tuned to BBC Persian or a hand-copied poem slid under a door. The tension broke in October 2022 when flames roared through Ward 7 and gunfire echoed across the city. Fire behind the walls. Saturday, 15th October 2022, began with chants echoing across Iranian streets. By nightfall, flames leapt from Evin's Ward 7 windows, lighting the sky like a distress flare. Official television claimed an inmate mattress fight had started the blaze, yet video showed gunfire cracking long before the first spark. Authorities later admitted 8 prisoners died and more than 60 were injured, many from bullet wounds, not smoke. Tehran residents filmed columns of black smoke drifting south, proof that even concrete walls cannot hide a burning secret. Firefighters arrived late, witnesses said, after security forces blocked the road for 30 minutes. The fire was a warning for some, a spark for others. Within weeks, the regime launched an execution spree. Amnesty International recorded at least 853 deaths in 2023, a jump of nearly 50%, and Iran accounted for almost three-quarters of the world's recorded executions. Hangings took place at dawn inside Evin's yard, sometimes while embers from the fire cleanup still smoldered nearby. Family members received only a plastic bag of clothing and a terse note about national security. Executions targeted protesters from the Women's Life Freedom Movement, ethnic Baluchi minorities, and drug offenders who lacked legal counsel. Daily newspapers printed only sports scores to quiet rumors of the gallows. International reaction followed. The United States and European Union imposed fresh sanctions on Evin's administrators and the Revolutionary Guard units guarding the prison. The UN Special Rapporteur for Iran called the fire and the surge in executions potential atrocity crimes and urged member states to assert universal jurisdiction. Canada moved further, listing the Revolutionary Guard as a terrorist entity, effectively barring former wardens from entering the country. The United Kingdom followed with asset freezes, and Australia summoned the Iranian ambassador so far. Yet inside the prison, nothing changed. Solitary lights still burned, and interrogators still asked the same circular questions. In March 2024, graffiti appeared on a cell wall, 4 matchsticks drawn in charcoal, 1 bent and smoking. No guard found the artist, but the message traveled by whisper. If 1 spark reached the world, imagine what 4 could do. The slogan now echoes in protests from Berlin to Sydney. Outside solitary vigils, families keep keys to empty bedrooms, unwilling to repaint walls still smelling of hope. Whether that spark becomes a blaze or fades in the night depends on voices outside the wall as much as those within. So, what part of Iran's Evin Prison story stunned you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more revealing content.